Hey YouTube world, harvest is plenty. Thanks for stopping by to check out the video. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button for me. So I pray that all is well with you guys. Pray that your family, your friends, all the people that you care about are doing well. You know, there's a lot of distractions out there, and made me decide to put this video up to make sure that you guys stay focused on the task at hand and that you don't forget that we're in the end days and that time is running out. I don't want you guys to be caught off guard the way Hezbollah was caught off guard by them exploding pagers. I'm sure you guys are aware of that, and the second wave of attacks that included iPhones as well. A lot of people are caught up in the election day chaos. Who's going to win, Harris or Trump? And a whole bunch of other things. Life is sometimes just filled with distractions. If it's not political or financial or family members, friends, jobs, careers, or whatever, health challenges, life is sometimes just filled with distractions. But always keep in mind that there's evil working in the background. There's wickedness in high places, principalities, thrones, dominions. And their end game, their end goal is depopulation and bringing in a one world government so the Antichrist could announce himself to the world. Never, ever, 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 ever forget that, irregardless of whatever distractions that comes our way. Please continue to prep and prepare. I love you guys. I have more videos coming out. Until then, may the good Lord continue to bless you and your family.
Name is Joy. On the 9th of August, I had a vision and I want to share it with my brothers and sisters out there through your channel. I am always glad to watch your videos and how you remind your viewers all the time to seek discernment in the message you share. Please do so to my message by seeking discernment. Test the spirit. Maybe this might not be of God, but within me, I personally know is of God and He is alerting us. I know I couldn't keep silent about it. This is not just another mere dream or a message I can wait on. I have had a deep sense of danger approaching, something that is far greater than anything I have ever encountered in my past visions. It's a warning for every man, woman, and child. I felt in my spirit that we were on the brink of something catastrophic and we needed to prepare. The month I was shown in my vision was November. I don't want to give dates, but that was what I saw. I cannot shake the feeling that what I saw will likely bring humanity to its knees. I can't explain it fully, but I know that something is coming, something that will test every aspect of our lives. I share this now because I believe God is calling all of us to wake up, to prepare spiritually and practically. I pray that people will listen and take this seriously. In the vision, I found myself at a church program we usually hold every November, one of the biggest annual revivals in my church. It's something we've been doing for years, and it always lasts for a week. But this time, something strange caught my attention. In the middle of the day, while we were all engaged in the program, I saw something in the sky. At first, it was just a few creatures like bats flying around. I didn't think much of it. After all, bats aren't completely uncommon. But it was broad daylight. That's when my suspicion began to rise. It was noon, and these creatures, which are usually nocturnal, had no reason to be out flying in such bright light. What troubled me more was their behavior. As I continued to watch, I noticed that they weren't behaving like ordinary bats. They were larger, much larger than they should have been. And there was something eerie about the way they moved. They weren't making any sound, nor fluttering of wings. It was as if they were floating, and the sight of them in the daylight gave me an overwhelming sense that something was wrong. I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't natural. There was something more different behind their presence. As I stood there, still trying to make sense of the bats, their numbers began to grow rapidly. What started as just a few soon became dozens, then hundreds. Within a few moments, they seemed to multiply before my eyes, filling the sky with their dark shapes. It all happened so quickly, and the unease that had been creeping in turned into full-blown fear. Before long, the entire sky was swarming with these creatures, and something horrifying occurred. They covered the entire sun, blocking its light rays. It wasn't like a typical sunset where the sky gradually dims. This was different. It was sudden. One moment, the sun was shining, and the next, everything went completely black. No light could penetrate the mass of bats overhead. It was as if they had swallowed the sun itself, and not a single ray of light broke through. The most unsettling part was the silence. Despite the many numbers of them, the bats made no noise at all. No flapping wings, no screeches, just an oppressive, eerie quiet. Everywhere I looked was in total blackness. The darkness spread beyond where we were gathered, engulfing the whole city. It was like the whole world had been swallowed whole. I could no longer see the buildings or streets. Everything was consumed by an overwhelming blackness. It wasn't the kind of darkness you experience at night. This was thicker and deeper. Everyone around began to cry out, but their voices were swallowed by the silence. I could feel the desperation rising. Some tried to move, to find their way through the darkness, but it was impossible. No one could see where to take a step, and fear of the unknown kept everyone frozen in place. Everything electrical was shut down. Lights, phones, cars, and every other thing that could produce light could no longer work. The power grid seemed to fail all at once, and the technology which we have come to rely on for everything was suddenly useless. People were struggling here and there. The whole city was in chaos. No one had any answers, and there was no way to communicate or find help. One girl who was in the building with me received a call from her mom, and her mom told her the same thing was occurring at her location. This was worldwide. Just as she was talking to her mom, her phone ran down. I checked mine, and it had also run down. It looked like everyone had their phones shut down. There was no power supply anymore. As I stood there in the darkness, I was unable to see or move. Something began to stir within me. It was as if something hidden was being revealed to me. A deep understanding came over me, almost like a veil was being lifted. This wasn't just a physical event. It was symbolic of something far greater. The darkness represented more than the loss of light. It began to play out before my eyes. I saw in the unveiled scene before my eyes that this blackout was a warning. It wasn't just about the collapse of technology or the failure of electricity. It was about the impending hardship that was about to descend upon the world. It became clear to me that this vision was showing the beginning of a great struggle, one that would affect everyone in the world. Hardship is coming, but it wasn't just about scarcity or economic collapse. It was about the loss of hope and the deepening of spiritual darkness. As the darkness persisted in the vision, the aftermath became clear. I saw the markets that were filled with people buying and selling had now become empty. Shelves were bare, and the things we often take for granted, which is food, water, and basic supplies, were hard to find. People wandered the streets, desperate for even the smallest items to keep their families fed and safe. The scarcity of necessities was unlike anything I had ever seen before, and it created an atmosphere of fear and chaos. I saw that it wasn't just the markets that had fallen silent. The entire financial system seemed to have crumbled. Banks closed their doors, unable to operate in the collapse. All transactions were halted, and people were left with no access to their money or savings. The little food or supplies that were left skyrocketed in price, far beyond what anyone could afford. The rich were made to be frustrated, and the poor had lost all hope. Economic breakdown was swift and brutal, leaving people in a state of helplessness. I began to sense the deeper impact of the darkness on people's hearts and spirits. It wasn't just the physical absence of light or the economic collapse that weighed on them. It was the emotional and spiritual toll that came with it. People were lost, not just in the literal darkness, but in a spiritual one as well. This could be in November or beyond. Let's just pray and seek confirmation from God on this. The only true source of hope was faith in God. Even though the world around us seemed to crumble, those who turned to God could find a special and powerful light that the darkness could not overcome. It wasn't a light that could be seen with the eyes, but one that illuminated the soul, bringing peace and guidance even in the worst of times. It wasn't enough to prepare physically by storing resources or planning. We needed to be spiritually prepared as well. Faith, trust in God, and a willingness to seek His guidance were the keys to survival. The vision was urging me to tell others that even in the face of unimaginable struggles, turning to God would bring light, strength, and endurance. He was the only true refuge in the chaos, and only through Him could we find the hope needed to carry on. As pounded on this vision I had, the message was clear to me. This wasn't just a warning for a few. It was for everyone. The time to prepare is now, both spiritually and practically. We cannot afford to be complacent. The darkness, both physical and spiritual, will come, and it will test every person in ways we cannot yet fully understand. I feel compelled to urge everyone to take this vision seriously. Now is the time to seek God, to turn away from distractions, and to prepare ourselves for what is to come. The future may look uncertain, but with faith, we can face the trials ahead. This is a call to action, both spiritually and practically, for the sake of our souls and our future.